The x-coordinates of the x-intercepts of the parabola are the solutions of quadratic equations. Shown on screen are the four algebraic methods where we can use to find the solutions of quadratic equations. We are already done with extracting the squares method, where we can use this when there is a quadratic term but no linear term. Today we'll make use of another method, and that is by factoring. For this, we have the learning target. I can solve for the solutions of a quadratic equation using the factoring method. Take note that we use factoring when the quadratic equation has small coefficients that can be factored easily. In the process of getting the solutions, we need to apply the zero product property, which states that if the product of two quantities equals 0, at least one of the quantities equals 0. In algebra, we state it like this. If a times b equals 0, then a is equal to 0 or b is equal to 0. Let's make some numbers to illustrate this. Say we have our a is equal to 5, then the other factor must be 0 in order to get a product of 0. Or we have our b is equal to 9, the other factor must be equal to 0 in order to get a product of 0. Now let's make use of the zero product property to find the solutions of quadratic equations in the factored form. Quantity x minus 5 times quantity x plus 7 equals 0 as an example. And another we have x times quantity x minus 8 equals 0. So what are we going to do? We simply equate each factor to 0. So let's start with this. So we have x minus 5 is equal to 0. We have x plus 7 equals 0. Okay. Then we transpose each constant here. So we have x is equal to negative 5. Transposed to the right side becomes positive 5. Positive 7 transposed to the right side becomes negative 7. So we have positive 5 and negative 7 as the solutions. So we can always check whether these are really the solutions by substituting each in the equation. So we have here 5. Okay, let's go back here. So we have 5 minus 5. Then we have x is equal to 5 plus 7 equals 0. 5 minus 5 equals 0. Then we have 5 plus 7 is equal to 12 equals 0. Multiplying this, we have 0 equals 0. So we have here a true statement. So x equals 5 is indeed a solution. How about if x equals negative 7? Okay, substitute negative 7 to the equation. Okay, so we have x is negative 7 minus 5 times we have negative 7 plus 7 equals 0. Take note that one of the resulting factors is 0. Multiplied to negative 12, it results to a product of 0. So we have another statement, true statement here. Thus, the solutions are 5 and negative 7. How about the second one? Same process. We have x is equal to 0, and we have x minus 8 equals 0. Okay? Then, we have x is equal to positive 8. So, we have x equals 0 and x equals 8. We can actually mentally check the solutions. So, we have here 0 times the resulting factor here. So, that's still equal to 0. How about 8? We have 8 minus 8 equals 0 times 8 here. The answer is still 0. Okay? Let's have some practice again. Okay? Kindly answer items 2, 4, and 6. Okay? And I want you to pause this video for a while. Take some time to answer these 3 items. And then after answering, play the video again. The next 3 items, 1, 5, 3, will be answered during our online class. Okay? Answer it now. Let's check. So we have equate each factor to 0. So we have x minus 6 equals 0. Then we have x minus 5 equals 0. transpose each to the right side. So we have x now is equal to negative 6 becomes positive 6. We have x is equal to negative 5 becomes positive 5. Okay, how about item number 4? So we have x is equal to 0. We have x minus 1 is equal to 0. Transpose negative 1 to the right side becomes positive 1. So you have x equals 0 and x equals 1 are the solutions. For item number 6, we have 3x plus 2 equals 0. Then we have 4x minus 1 equals 0. Okay? Transpose positive 2, it becomes negative 2. So what's left in the left side is 3x. Okay, we need x, so we need to isolate both sides to positive 3. So we have x now is equal to negative 2/3. For this, we have transpose negative 1, it becomes positive 1. So we have 4x here, then divide both sides by 4 to get the value of x. X is equal to 1/4. Okay, I hope you got all the items correctly. Okay, so in the previous slides, you have learned how to find the values of x when the given is in the form of quantity x plus a times quantity x minus b equals 0 or x times quantity x minus a equals 0. Now consider this equation, or this question rather. How will you solve for the value of x if the given is in the form ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0? Let's have some examples. Solve each equation by factoring. Okay. Now, make sure that the equation is written in the form ax squared plus bx equals 0, where a is equal to 1 before you find the factors. Okay? So, it's already in the standard form and the leading coefficient is 1. Okay? So, next is we are going to prepare two parentheses here where we are going to write the factors. Okay, let's start now with step number 1. Step 1, write the factors of x squared. So, we start with x squared. Okay. So, ano ang factors ng x squared? Ang factors ng x squared ay x times x. So, pagkatapos ma-identify yan, isusulat natin siya dito sa parenthesis. X times x. And then after that, okay, we are going to look into the factors of positive 10. Let me write it again. Okay. Positive 10, okay, think of factors of positive 10 when added, the sum is equal to positive 7. Okay? So, ano ang factors ng positive 10 na kapag i-add mo silang dalawa, ang sagot ay 7. So, we can have this working area. Okay? Say, ano ang factors ng positive 10? We have possible factors are 5 times 2, negative 5 times 2, okay? We could also have negative 10 times negative 1 or positive 10 times 1. Okay, try natin. Pag i-add natin ang 5 at saka 2, ang result ay 7. At nakita natin na ang 7 ay ang coefficient ng linear term or ng x. Okay? So, we have now, the factors to be used are positive 5 and positive 2. We'll not anymore get the sum of this because we have already identified the factors. Okay? So, sulat natin siya dito. So, positive 5, yung kanyang sign ay magiging operation. Okay. Tanungin niyo ako, ma'am, pwede bang mauna ang 2 bago ang 5? Yes, pwedeng mauna ang 2 at saka 2 bago ang 5 kasi nga ang multiplication ay commutative. Okay? Then after that, we apply the zero product property. So we have x plus 5 is equal to 0. And we have x plus 2 equals 0. We transpose the constants to the right side. So we have x is equal to negative 5 and x is equal to negative 2. So the solutions are negative 5, negative 5, and negative 2. Okay? Let's have another example. We have x squared plus 2x equals 8. Again, make sure that the equation is written in the form ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0, where the leading coefficient of x squared is 1. The leading coefficient of x squared is 1, but if this is not yet written in the standard form, so itatranspose natin si positive 8 sa left side, so magiging negative 8. So we have x squared plus 2x minus 8 equals 0. Then, mag-prepare tayo ng dalawang parentheses kung saan ilalagay natin yung kanyang mga factors. Step 1, ano ang factors ng x squared? Ang factors ng x squared ay x times x. Next, ano ang factors ng negative 8 na kapag i-add natin silang dalawa, ang sum ay positive 2. Okay. So, let's make use of this working area to the right. So, ano ang factors ng negative 8? Actually, madali na siyang isipin kasi ang 2 ang sum. So, pwede tayong mag 4 times negative 2, negative 4 times positive 2. Nasa kanilang dalawa lang. So, i-add natin 4 plus negative 2 is equal to 2. O, ito na agad. So, ibig sabihin, ito yung gagamitin natin at hindi ito. Bakit? Negative 4 plus 2 is equal to negative 2. So, hindi ito. So, itong factors na ito ang gagamitin natin. So, we have positive 4, and then we have negative 2 again. Pwedeng maunang negative 2 bago ang positive 4. Then, we apply the zero product property. Okay. So, we have x plus 4 is equal to 0, x minus 2 equals 0, and then we transpose the constants to the right side. So, we have x is equal to negative 4, x is equal to positive 4. So, the solutions are negative 4 and positive 2. Let's have another example. We have negative 2x squared plus 12x equals 18. Now, the leading coefficient of x squared is not positive 1. Instead, it's negative 2. And it's not yet written in the standard form. Okay. So, isulat muna natin siya sa standard form bago natin siyang gawaan ng paraan na yung coefficient ng x squared ay magiging positive 1. So, we have negative 2x squared plus 12x minus 18 equals 0. Okay. Ngayon, gawaan natin ng paraan na maging 1 ang coefficient ni x squared. So, anong gagawin? I-factor out natin ang negative 2. Okay? And notice, itong linear term tsaka constant term, ang kanilang coefficient ay divisible sa negative 2. So, ipa-factor natin. Factor out siya. So, let's make use of the working area here. So, ano ibig sabihin nito? Ibig sabihin yan, i-divide natin ang all terms rather, negative 2x squared plus 12x minus 18 sa negative 2. Ayan. So, negative 2x squared divided by negative 2, what's left here is x squared. So, ang coefficient ni x squared now ngayon ay 1. Positive divided by negative is negative. 12 divided by 2 is 6. Copy x. Then, negative divided by negative is positive. 18 divided by 2 is equal to 9. And then, we write these factors in the parentheses. So, we have x squared minus 6x plus 9. We are not yet done. Okay, so we continue with finding the factors of x squared minus 6x plus 9. Let's copy negative 2. So equals 0. Okay, let's start with x squared. What are the factors of x squared? So we have x times x. How about the factors of positive 9? When added, the sum is equal to negative 6. Si positive 9 ay 3 times 3 or pwede ring negative 3 times negative 3. I-add natin ang two factors na positive 3. The result is 6. So, ibig sabihin, hindi ito. Kasi hindi siya nag-result sa negative 6. Again, factors ng positive 9 na kapag i-add equals negative 6. So, how about negative 3 plus negative 3? Ang sagot niyan ay negative 6. So, ibig sabihin, gagamitin natin ang factors na ito, negative 3, negative 3. Susulat natin siya dito. So, we have negative 3, negative 3. Take note, yung sign ay naging operation. Then, after that, we apply the zero product property. We have negative 2 is not equal to 0. Actually, hindi talaga siya pwedeng maging 0 kasi nga, ang negative 2 dito ay magdi-describe lamang kung gaano ka-narrow or ka-wide ang parabola. Now, we will discuss this later in quadratic functions. Then, you have x minus 3 equals 0. X minus 3 equals 0. Actually, pareho lang sila, di ba? Sige lang. For this sake, we are going to operate each one. So, we have transpose, we have positive 3, then we have positive 3. Meaning to say here, we only have one solution, and that is only positive 3. The solution is 3. Kung i-graph natin yan siya, it looks like this. Ito yung 3, dito yung ating solution. So, it looks like this, downward. Kasi nga, ang coefficient ay negative. Kapag ang coefficient ay positive, the parabola opens upward. Kapag negative, the parabola opens downward. Okay? So, that's it. Okay, last one. You have 35x squared minus 15x. Notice we have here a binomial, and then the coefficients, leading coefficients of the quadratic term and linear term are both divisible by 5. So, the common factor is 5. How about x squared and x? Ang common factor nila ay x. Okay. Sa pag-determine kung alin sa mga variables ang common factor, piliin mo yung may pinakamababa ang exponent. So, ibig sabihin ito. And then, prepare tayo ng parenthesis. Okay. This will be our working area. Anong ilalagay natin dito? So, kukopyahin natin ito. Ibig sabihin yan, lahat ng terms ay i-divide natin sa common factor na 5x. Okay. So, 35 divided by 5 is equal to 7. X squared divided by x is equal to x. Okay, remember the quotient law on exponents. We copy the common base and subtract the exponents. 2 minus 1 is equal to 1. Then, we have minus 15 divided by 5 is equal to 3. X divided by x is equal to x raised to 0, and x raised to 0 is equal to 1. 3 times 1 is equal to 3. Okay, so these are now the resulting factors. So we have 7x minus 3. Then after this, we apply the zero product property. So we have 5x is equal to 0. Then we have 7x minus 3 equals 0. Okay, we need x, so divide both sides here by 5. So x is equal to 0. Then, transpose negative 3 to the right side. We have positive 3. What's left here is 7x. Then we need x. So isolate it by dividing both sides by 7. So x is equal to 3 over 7. So the solutions are x equals 0 and x equals 3 over 7. So we are done with the examples. So always remember that when solving for the solutions of quadratic equations, make sure that the equation is written in the standard form, ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. Then make a way to make the coefficient of x squared be equal to 1 before finding its factors. If you have a binomial, look for the common factor before applying the zero product property. Okay, for your practice now, okay, solve each quadratic equation by factoring. Okay, I'll be giving you some time to solve this, and then I want you to pause this video for a while. And after answering, play the video again to view the answer. Okay, so let's check now. So prepare two parentheses here, where we are going to write our factors. Let's start with x squared. Ano ang factors ng x squared? So we have x times x. Ano ang ngayon ang factors ng negative 12 na kapag i-add natin ang factors na ito equals positive 4? So let's have our working area. Negative 12, okay, positive 4, mag-isip tayo. Ano ang factors ng 12? Pwede siyang 6 at saka 2 kasi nga pag i-add or pag i-subtract natin, maaari tayo magkakuha ng positive 4 or negative 4. So dito, positive ito, so ibig sabihin ang magkakaroon ng negative sign ay yung smaller factor. Okay, in which we are going to add 6 plus 4, the answer is equal to positive 4. So, ito na ngayon ang ating factors. Ganun lang kadali. Para hindi masyadong marami yung maiisip natin na factors. So, we have positive 6 at saka negative 2. Then, apply the zero product property by equating each factor to 0. Then, transpose each constant term to the right side. So we have x is equal to, when we transpose, the sign changes. We have positive 2. So the solutions are x equals negative 6 and x equals 2. Very easy. How about item number 2? It is not yet written in the form ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. So we need to transpose the two terms to the left side. So we have x squared plus 8 minus rather because we transpose it. Okay, let's check this one. So that must be minus 8x. Then negative 6 transpose, it becomes positive 16 equals 0. Then we prepare two parentheses here where we can write our factors. Let's start with x squared. The factors of x squared are x times x. Then, next step is we look at positive 16. Think of the factors of positive 16 when added, the sum is equal to negative 8. So, ano yung mga factors ng 16? 8. So, we have 4 times 4. We have 4 times 4. But when we are going to add 4 and 4, the sum is equal to positive 8. What we need here is negative 8. So we think of other factors of 16. We can have negative 4 times negative 4. Kasi nga, negative 4 times negative 4 equals 16. Pag i-add natin silang dalawa, equals negative 8. Okay? So ito ngayon ang gagamitin natin na factors. So we have x minus 4, x minus 4. Okay? So actually, magkapareho lang silang dalawa. Ibig sabihin yan, iisa lamang ang ating solution. So we can just equate one of the factors to 0. Kasi pareho lang naman sila. And then, transpose this to the right side. So we only have one solution, and that is x equals positive 4. Okay, let's have another one, number 3. Okay, pause this video for a while, and then after answering, play it again. So let's answer. We have x squared minus 3x transpose is 1 to the left side so that the equation would be in the standard form. And then prepare two parentheses. Then think of the factors of x squared, and these are x times x. Then look at the constant term, negative 10. Mag-isip ng factors ng negative 10 na kapag i-add natin equals negative 3. So let's have our working area here. So ano yung negative 10? So 3. So 5 at saka 3. 5 times 3. Alin sa kanilang dalawa ang magne-negative para makakuha tayo ng negative 3 na result? By the way, this is positive 2. Okay. It's positive 2. Okay. So, alin sa kanilang dalawa ang mag-negative para makakuha tayo ng negative 3? So, obviously, we'll have negative 5 because negative 5 plus 2 equals negative 3. Okay? So, masanay din kayo mag-isip ng factors later. Okay? So, kapag hindi nyo agad-agad itong maisip, so isulat nyo lahat ng possible factors ng negative 10 na kapag i-add equals negative 3. So, we write now the factors. Negative 5. Again, we consider the sign, or the sign becomes the operation now. Negative 5 and positive 2. At pwedeng mauna ang positive 2 bago ang negative 5. Then, we apply the zero product property. So, we have x minus 5 is equal to 0. X plus 2 is equal to 0. Transpose, so we have x is equal to 5. We have x equals negative 2. Okay? So, ito yung ating mga solutions. Okay, let's have item number 4. Second to the last item. Pause this video and then solve it. And then play it when done. So, let's solve. Okay, we have a binomial in which they have common factors. The common factors of 6 and 18 is obviously 6. Okay? How about x squared and x? Ang common factor nila ay 6. Okay? Ano kaya ang ating factor dito? So, let's make use of the working area. 6x squared plus 18x equals 0. I-divide natin sa common factor na 6x. So, 6x squared divided by 6x is equal to x. 18 divided by 6 is equal to 3. X divided by x equals 4. So, we have x raised to 0 which is equal to 1. So, ito na lang ang ating factor. We have x plus 3 here. Then, we apply the zero product property. So, we have 6x is equal to 0. We have x plus 3 equals 0. Divide both sides by 6 to get the value of x. And 0 divided by 6 is equal to 0. Then we transpose positive 3 to the right side, it becomes negative 3. So the solutions are x equals negative 3 and x equals 0. And for the last item, okay, kindly answer this for 3 minutes and then play it when done. Okay, let's answer. It is not yet written in the standard form. So, we have negative 3x squared. Isulat natin siya sa standard form by transposing the other two terms to the left side. So, we have negative 18x minus 27 equals 0. Take note when we transpose, the sign changes. Okay, now we'll make a way that the coefficient of x squared be equal to 1 by dividing all terms by negative 3 or factoring out negative 3. Anyway, all the leading coefficients here are divisible by negative 3. What will be the factors here? So let's have the working area. Negative 3x squared minus 18x minus 27 equals 0. We divide all terms to the common factor, negative 3. Okay, so negative 3 divided by negative 3 is equal to x squared. Then we have negative 18 divided by negative 3 is positive 6. Just copy x. Negative 27 divided by negative 3 is positive 9 equals 0. Oh, not necessarily we have 0 here. So we have now x squared plus 6x plus 9. Okay? So after that, we are going to think of the factors of x squared plus 6x plus 9 is copy negative 3. Okay, so what are the factors of x squared? We have x times x. Factors of positive 9, when added, the sum is 6. So obviously, we have 3 plus 3. Okay, so we have plus 3 plus 3. So obviously, we only have one solution here because negative 3 cannot be equal to 0. And as what I mentioned a while ago, negative 3 will just only describe how narrow or wide the parabola is. So, you only have here x plus 3 is equal to 0. Transpose this. So, we have the only solution is x minus 3. And that's it. I hope you were able to understand today's lesson. Okay? So, for the graded part, kindly answer set B, independent practice items 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay? Then just send the output to me or upload it in our elements. Okay? I hope you were able to understand everything. So, see you in our online class.